Hi everyone, this is Franco from Fresh Air Carpet Cleaning, here for another little week of chat and a couple of little handy tips for you people to use for yourselves.
We've got the gear, we've got the cameras, we've got all these computers in front of us.
Yeah.
We don't know how to use any of it.
No, we don't. This is all just an experiment. It's going wrong, but it's an experiment.
No, it's great. But Franco, you said today when you're walking in, apart from going live, and it seemed like a good idea because it's wet weather time.
It is wet weather time. It's been a horrible howling gale out there all night with the thunderstorms and all the rest of it. Dogs going berserk and people having a bit of a panic because things are wet on the roads. That's just life in Perth.
It certainly is. But for a business like yours, is a carpet cleaning business weather dependent? Does it get affected by the weather?
It does to a certain degree. So it's a bit of a strange psychology, I guess, with people that. Here in Perth, at least, I'm not sure what it's like in other places, but we kind of get scared of the rain here. It's a bit bizarre. It's like this stuff's falling from the sky. What is it? What is it? So what I generally find happens is that if we've had a protracted dry period and then we do get that bit of rain, the phone just stops dead because people go, oh, it's raining. I can't have my carpets cleaned now. It's too wet. They're not going to dry, and then people are going to traipse all over them. And I find that if you get those couple of days of rain, then it goes back to fine weather. Then the phone starts to pick up again because people have fine weather in their heads. It's like, oh, everything's okay again.
Everything's okay.
And then it starts raining. Then the phone stops. So we'll cycle up and down. But the really odd thing is, if we have a protracted period of rain, now we say 3 or 4 or 5 days with constant rain, the phone starts ringing again. People get used to the idea of rain. It's like, oh yes, we actually do get rain. But the carpets are still dirty. We still need to get them done.
Right. It's interesting. Is there any, in the psychology, it's raining, so we think, well, it's wet outside, my carpets won't dry.
Yeah, that's the main argument against it. Now, whether it's raining outside or not is fairly irrelevant as far as what we're doing is concerned, because it's not raining on the carpet.
No.
Okay. Inside the house, even in the winter time, you can either open up your windows, or if you've got ceiling fans, you can get ceiling fans going, and that will speed things up and drying up. The more airflow you have through your house, the faster it's going to dry. Or if you've got heating of some description, that's going to speed things up massively as well. But with today's modern equipment that we have, especially with the new dual port Bonza ones that we use, we're picking up so much more moisture that there's not that great deal of moisture left behind in the job anyway.
Yeah. So
the carpets do tend to dry off fairly quickly. It does slow things down a little bit. I'm not going to say they're going completely the same as they are during summertime. That's foolish.
Yeah.
Because the humidity's higher and the temperature's lower, which means that it's going to slow things down. But it's not to the point where it's going to take days to dry out. If it takes days to dry out during the winter time, your carpet cleaner has not done his job correctly.
Not done it right in the first place. Franco, for business, how do you combat that? I'm sure there's other business owners out there that have got these cycles that go on in their business. Some will be saying, wet weather affects me too, and all the, stinking hot days affects me or whatever. How do you combat that as a business owner? What strategies do you put in place?
Okay, well, it's really about trying to educate the client. Because, as I said, there's that hesitance because of the fact people think it's going to take too long to dry out. And when it comes to tiles as well, they don't want to get tiles done because the weather's wet and they don't want people to walk over the tiles. But the truth is that by the time I finish tile cleaning, the tiles are dry.
Yes.
Okay, I actually mop them dry, because it's a slip issue. Okay, so for tile and grout cleaning, if I leave water behind the tile, I'll leave behind a potential lawsuit because someone falls over and hurts themselves. That's actually my fault.
And in this day and age, you don't want those.
Well, I don't want that happening to my customers anyway. I'd hate for someone to have an injury as a result of my being there.
Yeah.
So what we do, as I said, is we make sure that the tiles are actually nice and dry before we actually leave. The grout line might still need a half hour to dry out, but that's only grout. No one's really walking on the grout, and it's only just a little bit of time to flash it off. Upholstery, once again, the upholstery might take an hour or two longer to dry out, but it will still dry out same day.
Is there any benefits to getting things done in the inclement weather? Does the client themselves benefit from having it done now rather than in the peak of summer?
It's the same with anything. The longer you leave it, the worse it gets. It's not going to get any better if you leave it. It's just going to get worse. So if you can get your carpets and upholstery and or tiles cleaned when they're ready to be cleaned, not just to wait for the dry weather to happen, then you're a lot better off. And besides which, with that last tip we had last session about using your mats, your walk-off mats, you clean your carpets, use your walk-off mats, you will not have issues.
Not have issues at all. So, people do have that psychology, and you're saying you educate them. And obviously educate them when you guys come, they're virtually touched by the time you leave your carpets anyway. So it makes no difference whether it's raining or not raining. But for those that are a little bit sceptical to know whether they've got a good tradesman in the house, and look, we've found this, haven't we? We've walked in and gone, these carpets are really, really wet, and the tradesman goes, yes, but it's winter, darling, and Mr. Such and Such, what do you expect? It's raining.
Yeah, well, look, I've actually been on jobs. I went to one particular one a few years ago that I was there 10 days after the fact, and the carpets were still wet.
Whoa!
Yeah, been to other ones where I've actually had the carpet squelching underfoot. I think that was a little bit too much moisture. Yeah. And these guys will argue with you saying, oh no, that's just how it is. Well, no, it's not. If you've done that to a carpet, you've actually damaged it.
Right.
So, whilst water is our friend, we need that to flush the carpet out. It's also our greatest enemy. So we don't want to leave our greatest enemy sitting in the carpet creating issues for you.
Yeah. So how can you tell if someone is going to do the right thing? Because it is difficult these days. I mean, they turn up in a fancy van and, they've got the business card.
Yep. And look, the only way you're really going to find out is if they do have relevant training with the industry, if they have the right sorts of equipment. But for a general layperson, that's really difficult because everybody's going to tell you they've got the best of everything.
Yes.
Okay, and that's just the name of the game. Everybody's trying to make a buck, and they're going to do whatever they can to try and get that happening. But I mean, even reviews sometimes. I know quite a few places I've had the offers made to me where I can buy reviews.
Yes.
So reviews these days are a little bit tainted.
Yeah.
There is a company I know called Ethicus who've actually now started doing verified reviews, so they actually can't put up a review until they've been verified with the person that put them up.
Wow.
But you've got to be a member of that to be able to actually say that. So it's a really fraught thing. There was one of the franchises last year who got done by the ACCC for false advertising.
Yes.
Yes, we do remember that one, and that was quite a major thing. And there's a lot of people doing that. So reviews, they kind of work, but they don't.
I've seen that with people putting, testimonials on websites. When the ACCC, which is our governing body, came along and went, well, they're fake. Yeah. You made them up. And you just put them on there, and that's false advertising, and you get done for that. But there was a time when people, they would put them up, and there's even been cases where they've put up photographs that aren't theirs, and instead of saying, they're not my photographs, they've just put them up.
Yeah, I actually had one guy here in Perth who was, I can't remember how he found out, but he found out that someone in Queensland had duplicated his website and just changed the names. Yeah, so his website, complete. Wow. All the wording, all the pictures, it was all claiming to be his. And he's a top-end operator, and he was not happy.
No, no. So you've got to be careful, haven't you, in business these days, no matter what business you're in. You have to be, and I know it's difficult for startups because they may say, well, I've got no photographs. But if you are going to put photographs, say these are samples and not.
Yeah, that's right.
You've just got to be clear so people understand.
I know for myself, I don't particularly like using photographs that aren't ours.
No.
Because, to me, if you can't actually achieve those results, you shouldn't be publishing them. Essentially. But when it comes to that, whatever we say we can do, we will deliver. We give our 100% money back guarantee that we are going to do exactly what we're going to say. So if we say we're going to leave your carpets dry enough that you're going to be able to use them within a certain amount of time, and bearing in mind that different carpets dry off very, very differently. But we will tell you roughly how long it will be, and you should find that within those sort of time periods that it should work. And there are things that people can do within their own homes, as I said, to speed things along. Air movement's critical. And if you're really worried about it, then we have low moisture options as well. So
cool.
So that'd be really good for a freshen up. For instance, or even if we do the hot water extraction, where you're obviously using a lot more moisture, there are things that we can do to push things along to speed the process up as well. So there's one way to skin a cat. Okay, we can put air movers in ourselves as we're going from room to room, so we can actually dry those carpets off that a little bit faster. We can also run an absorbent bonnet over the top of them with another, like a scrubber machine that will draw some moisture out. Put those two into play, then you've got a carpet that's drying more and more. But by the time you leave the house, it's actually almost feeling touch dry. But once again, even those Bonza ones, I know that when I first started using one on one of our first jobs, I actually did the job and finished the job, packed it up, and went to the entrance where the carpet was right at the front door. I was waiting for the owner to come back from walking their dog, and I thought, I'll just give the carpet a bit of a feel, and I was gobsmacked at how dry it was. And that was on a relatively cool day. It was in October, so it wasn't particularly warm. It was only like a 23, 24 degree
I think you've been in the industry for a long time as well.
Yeah. And like I said, I was really surprised that these things work so well. It's like, it was a really pleasant surprise, especially after spending the $4 grand to buy them. You want to make sure that your investment's good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I mean, that was one of the reasons why I bought it, because of the fact that they're so efficient with their extraction.
So when you educate customers, do you produce brochures for them, or little pamphlets for them that explains wet weather carpet cleaning?
No, I've never actually done anything to that. It's more of a verbal thing.
Right.
As I said, if people are going to be looking to get their carpets cleaned for whatever reason, then you'll have some people that say, well, I want to make a booking, but I'll cancel it if it's wet.
Yeah.
That doesn't do us a lot of good, because we could be doing something else. So we go through the process of explaining to them that this is how it is, that it can still dry within a specified time. Put it this way, if anything takes longer than 24 hours to dry out, and that's in a worst case scenario, we've done something wrong.
You've done something wrong.
Yeah.
As well as educating them, do you, and you mentioned, just flick back on something you said before about the reviews, do you ask your clients when you finish jobs to give you reviews these
All
days?
of our invoices are done electronically.
Right.
Okay, so there's a link on there, because we use a particular app that you can give ratings on, so you can give a 1 to 5 star rating, and we also ask for people to give a Facebook or Google review, so that if you're happy with the job, well, then by all means, please leave us a review. We had a great one last week with a girl that had already had a Fanta stain cleaned out of her carpet, supposedly twice.
Right. Twice?
Twice no less.
Made you came back, did it?
Yeah, well, no, it never disappeared in the first place, funnily enough. So anyway, to cut a long story short, we went in there and sorted that out for her. And I got a result which I was reasonably happy with. But she walked into the room and just went nuts. Because she couldn't believe how well it had come out. I mean, you had to search for it to find it.
Right.
I'm just a bit of a perfectionist.
Yes.
So to me,
as
like,
you are.
it's an okay result. But she was just over the moon, so she went to spread the word far and wide. She put it onto the Service Made app, she put it onto the Facebook, put it on Google, so that was fantastic.
Wow.
But that's what we like to do. We like to be able to have people give those sorts of reviews for us, for the jobs that we've done, so that we know that we are on the right track as well.
Yeah. And do you constantly take before and after photographs still, Franco?
Pretty much on almost every job, unless it's just a really straightforward job. There's nothing really to report. Then if there's anything a little bit untoward, then it's photos for before and after, so that we can have for our own records to see what there was there.
One thing that you do is the colour dyeing and the recolouring. Does the wet weather affect that? Because now I'm thinking
0%. 0% of that. With carpet dyeing, okay, they're doing those bleach marks at least, when you've got sort of spots where you have to recolour. One of the final steps we do is get the hairdryer out and dry it off as much as possible. So, so it's trafficable straight away. If we're doing it as part of a clean, then of course that doesn't really matter, because we'll treat the stain, or the bleach mark, I should say. It's not a stain, it's because it's colour loss, not colour gain. So we'll treat that area and then clean the carpet. Because the carpet, the dye is permanent, it's not going to clean out. So if we can clean straight after it's done, it's not going to move anywhere.
That's pretty good. Because Because you would get that impression. I could see how some people would get the impression, oh, you're recolouring, so you're dyeing, and we think dyes liquids, so it's wet again, but you dry it off as you go.
Yeah. I mean, the dyes, once they strike the carpet and they take to the carpet, they're designed to be permanent, and that's why we use them.
One thing that I was fascinated, and that is the recolouring of carpets.
Mm-hmm.
So someone's got a really light carpet and it's looking a bit grubby, but you can recolour it to a darker shade. Is that the same? Can you still do that? Because that's a lot of carpet now.
Yes.
If you're looking at the whole room, you can still do the same. It's still perfect to do it in wet weather.
Oh yeah. There's still no problems with that. It will take that little bit longer to dry out. It's a slightly different process to what your carpet cleaning is.
Yeah.
But look, it's not going to be a great issue. It's as long as the colour takes.
Yes.
And we don't have too many problems putting it in there. Sometimes you find that there are residues in the carpet which aren't apparent until you start.
Right.
And then that area might take a little bit more dealing with.
Yep.
But other than that, it's no great issue. Once again, it's a case of there's water, there's dye, and it's extracted. We don't just leave it dye sitting on the carpet.
No.
Gallons of water.
And we'll just roll paint on it.
Let's just wait until next week to possibly dry out. No, it doesn't quite work that way. Once again, we don't want to leave it too wet.
Yeah, because that recolouring, that's quite an exciting process. I could see people getting into the winter, they've had their summer, had their parties, and maybe they've had some pale carpet and they've gone, that took a hammering, but carpet's expensive. And you've got to try and rebuy carpet, it's like, and have the hassle of ripping it up, relaying it. But this recolouring, you can come in, as long as it's going shades darker.
Well, it depends what situation we're talking about. There is sometimes we're talking about doing a colour wash. Okay. So what you're doing is bringing the colour back up, because you'll find that quite often particularly with nylon carpets and with wool carpets, or with acid dyed nylons, not the solution dyed nylons, but those areas would just start to lose a little bit of colour over time.
Yes.
Through trafficking, through UV degradation, and general cleaning. Sometimes, especially if you have someone that's come in with the wrong chemistry, they can actually strip a little bit of colour out. And it's only a little bit at a time, but each bit hurts the carpet. And then over a few years, you take your furniture out of the room, and like underneath the bed, there's this beautiful colour, and then the traffic area is just pale and wishy-washy.
Yeah.
We can bring that colour back up using a colour wash system. So we're actually cleaning the carpet and introducing a little bit of colour just to boost it back up again. We won't get rid of the wear, obviously.
No.
So you'll still see whatever wear factor there might be, but the colour can be brought back up again, so that it's a more even colour throughout, and the carpet just looks magnificent again.
Wow. And then the recolouring is where you actually physically change the colour.
That's where we're changing colour. Like if you're bored with your carpet, or you've got some really serious stains there that just aren't going to come out,
yes.
Then we can go over it with a darker colour to basically, we're not going to get rid of the stain by any stretch of imagination. What we're going to do is cover it over. So when you've got the darker area, it will not be as noticeable. You probably reduce the impact of it by about 80 to 90%.
Wow.
But if you look closely, you'll still see it there.
But that's pretty good for just getting away from normal households. I can see someone who's got a rental property, and the cost of replacing carpet is probably going to be more effective to go, actually, I can just change the colour.
With a rental property, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you've got a rental property that you don't want to go spending the money on, well, hey, this is a perfect solution for it. And once again, during the winter time, it's still a doable option.
It's still doable.
Yeah, as long as you get the ventilation right after the job.
Yep.
Obviously, because when you're in between tenants, there's no one at home. But I mean, there are things we can do to try and alleviate that issue.
Fantastic. Franco, as always, it is fascinating. Now I've got to try and work out how to use this system so you can say goodbye to the camera and let people know how they can contact you.
Okay, so this is going to get interesting. We're trying to use the new technology. At least I can say my technology is new, but it's well used and well proved and trusted by us. So if you want to know more about the sorts of things that we can do, and any options that you have for being able to rejuvenate your carpet, call us. We've got a landline number which is 9493 3880, or you can get in touch via the email system which is info@facc.com.au, or hit us up on our Facebook page of Fresh Air Carpet Cleaning, and there's also the Fresh Air Carpet Dyeing page these days as well. So one of those ways, you will get in touch with one of us and we'll be able to handle your query.